Welcome back to Gaming with Spoons. Today on the channel we're talking about The World Ends With You Final Mix. Now, what I want to talk about is its motion controls, because this does seem to have quite a few people divided. The World Ends With You Final Remix's motion controls, to say at the least, are very gimmicky. They definitely take some time to get used to. Now, what I do want to say about the game before we get into talking about that is visually this game looks very, very beautiful. Being able to play this on my 50-inch TV out in my living room and making it look loads better than what it was on the Nintendo DS. The character animation looks smooth, the battle animations, the movement in the game looks absolutely beautiful. Its remixed soundtrack is also done very, very well. I actually prefer the remixed soundtrack over the original, which is something that I typically do not care much for in most cases, but this is the exception. For those of you who do want that original soundtrack, though, there is an option in order to actually select the original soundtrack so you can listen to it that way, if that is what you so desire. I do like it when video game developers give people the option to be able to switch between the original and the remixed versions of the soundtrack. So kudos to them, I'm glad that they did that. Now, let's talk about the gameplay mechanics and really the big problem that everybody has with this game. So The World Ends With You's motion controls in the game can be very, very difficult to get your hands to get down. They do take some time to get used to. Essentially what it was is the Nintendo DS version lets you control the top and the bottom screen. On the bottom screen you control one character, on the top screen you control the other. The Nintendo Switch versions kind of dumbed that down and basically made it so you do control one character, but your secondary character is able to kind of come in and you're able to use them as a special. Say more or less this is probably what you would what would happen in Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories when you would summon Donald or Goofy. Your character would swoosh in, do their special attack, and kind of move out, but it's a little bit more intricate than that. The bar kind of goes down and the character has that long to kind of be out there on the field and help you out. There is also the option to be able to have a with someone else, local co-op, be able to sit down with you and play the other character, which does make the battle a little bit more interesting in my opinion. I do kind of think it's kind of cool to have somebody else kind of help you out in battle, but it is definitely not necessary. Now, the way that the controls work is in order to actually do things on the screen, you have to use the Nintendo Switch's gyro controls. So even moving in battle is down to the gyro control. So you kind of point it at there, you use the cursor, you kind of move where you want to, you hold the L button, and then you use the buttons on your remote control to kind of get your character to move down and dodge the enemy. This is by far the one thing that irritates me most, because I do just want to be able to pick up a control and use an analog stick or even a frickin' D-pad to move my character. I don't like having to use that particular motion in order to do it. Even with the DS original, though you could move the character using the stylus, I always preferred to use the D-pad because I did not like using the stylus to move my character. It just wasn't something that I enjoyed. Now, the gameplay mechanics also allow you to use different abilities, different pins that your character can equip, and each of these pins kind of have different abilities and the way to use them. So say, for instance, one move you get is a slash move, and in order to use a slash move, you kind of have to take the cursor, move it to your enemy, and kind of use a slash motion to get that slash to be used. It works very well in my opinion. I didn't have too many of a problem with that, which kind of leads me to believe that it's just going to be the way people's play style are, the way that maybe they don't really get it to work. It might work better for other people. Like I said, I didn't have a problem with it, but I did have a problem using the lightning attack. I couldn't get that to work out as well as I wanted it to. This, again, may be something I just need to sit down and play more time into. The other move that you're able to go in and use is to actually use like little fireballs, and by clicking off to the side of the enemy, Neku will fire fireballs towards the enemy's direction so it hits them. So there's that there. There's also, you have to actually go and select each and every single one of your pins using the cursor. There's a lot that kind of goes into this, and it's still a very intensive battle system. You're still going to have to be very vigilant about what's going on, be aware of your surroundings, be aware of how to use them, your telekinesis ability to be able to throw items at your enemy, things like that. It's all kind of very much, I think, going to be something you're going to have to just sit down and get used to. And I do think that they could have done one thing quite a bit differently. As I said, putting the controls, doing an update, allowing us to take the other Joy-Con if we so desire, and move our character using that. I think that would just, or even making it so you just use one Joy-Con and be able to move your character using that, would be loads better. You're able to do this outside of combat. I don't really see why you can't do it in combat, but that has to be the one thing that I think I would absolutely change. As for some of the other mechanics, I feel like that they could go in and tweak some things and take some things out here and there and kind of go from there. But that's just my thoughts, my opinions, and kind of what I thought about The World Ends With You controls. I definitely think they're manageable. I definitely think that people are giving the game a tad bit too much hate and maybe not giving those controls a shot. But I do understand that those controls are not for everybody. And I do understand the argument, people saying, well, just play it in touchscreen mode. That takes out a little bit of the fun, because the fact of playing the game, the Nintendo Switch functionality, is being able to play that on your TV and the tablet. So if you're taking away one of those and saying, well, just play it that way because it runs better, then you're essentially taking a function outside of it that should be there. And as I said, the game does look really good in docked mode. I'm really surprised by how visually stunning that this game looks. So let me know down below what you guys think of The World Ends With You controls. Is this a game you are going to pick up? I would still highly recommend it if it is a game you are looking to play. Be sure to hit subscribe there for me to keep updated with all of my content. You can follow me on Facebook and Twitter. Links are going to be down below in that description box. You guys have been watching Gaming with Spoons, and most importantly, stay happy, be happy, game happy. Spoons is checking out.